Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed, lab-proven to work fast, and proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wondercide's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wondercide.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wondercide.com. Wondercide. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wondercide today.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Kulturecast. I'm Chris Stachiw.
And I'm Sean Liang.
And Sean, do you want to look into the abyss with me?
Oh, I'm afraid so.
Jesus. So today we're going to be talking about Into the Abyss, Werner Herzog's documentary on crime and punishment from 2011. But before we get to that, Sean, have you been watching anything this week?
Gosh, have I watched anything new? I rewatched Krampus, which was really fun. I just bought that because I will be watching that every Christmas.
I watched the end of Krampus. Does that count?
I mean, yeah, I really enjoyed the ending, actually. There's a nice denouement at the end.
It's that, like, 80s, stereotypical, like, 80s ending to a horror movie.
I love it. They all look around, and yeah, it's great. It's a great little Christmas family movie, I think.
Yeah, I have it on my computer. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I enjoyed it. I think it was better than I even expected.
Right. Is that it? Just Krampus?
Yeah, what else about it? Yeah, I haven't been watching anything new other than that. It's been a busy week.
Tell me about it. Let's see. What have I been watching? I'm caught up on Game of Thrones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all the way to whatever the episode that they just aired on Sunday.
Nice, dude. Yeah, everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, everyone's talking about. So here's the thing. Let me be critical of people who watch TV shows. and let me be critical here.
Please do.
So like 10, 15 years ago, nobody liked comic book movies, right? They weren't like a thing. And comic books were seen as like nerd shit, right?
That's hard for me to believe, but yes.
But yes, it was like fucking nerds with your comic books. And a book like Game of Thrones kind of appeals to the same crowd, maybe even a more diehard crowd because it's like fantasy.
Yeah.
So it's like, and Lord of the Rings was like a, nerd D&D shit before it became the immensely successful movie trilogy by Peter Jackson.
Right.
And Game of Thrones is kind of the same thing. It was this like immensely successful book series before HBO began adapting it into the show. So the diehard fantasy crowd aren't surprised by things that happened in the show, primarily A, because the books have already been written, so the plot points were fleshed out in the books, but B, they also know kind of the tropes of fantasy.
Right, okay, yes.
With the most recent season of the show and kind of the big twist that really isn't a twist, people are like, oh my God, this is so insane, I never saw this coming. It's like, well, if you were a fan of fantasy and not just an HBO show, you would of course seen this coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's just the natural progression of these kinds of things. So that's kind of my soapbox. Is that, like, the people that really love this show, that never read the books, don't care to read the books, don't like fantasy, think D&D's fucking dumb. The way that they watch this show is so strange to me.
Yeah.
They watch this show like they've never watched anything like this before. And it's like, the pinnacle of television.
Right.
First off, it's not. Game of Thrones is good, but I don't think it's like the best TV show ever.
Well, it has so much hype around it. I mean, so much. It's like the show right now.
It does have a lot of hype around it, and a lot of that hype is deserved, and a lot of that hype is not deserved.
Yeah.
And the problem is some of the people that are really hyping the show are people that on any other given day would tell you that fantasy and dragons and wizards are stupid.
Exactly. Right. I agree. And they go and tell everyone about it on Facebook.
Yeah, like Game of Thrones is awesome, but you hate Lord of the Rings,
right.
Or you hate just like genuine fantasy novels and stuff like that. Like Game of Thrones and Harry Potter, and to some extent Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings a little less, especially with books like the Silmarillion. Harry Potter and Game of Thrones are light fantasy.
Yeah, okay.
They're really light. They're not like heavy fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Game of Thrones is just like a political thing in a fantasy world.
Yeah, right.
So it's just like these people that get like really like excited about this show. A large majority. Some of the people I know that are really into like fantasy and D&D stuff, they kind of echo this sentiment that I have, where it's just like, come on, we knew this was gonna happen.
Right, exactly.
None of this is surprising.
Exactly. Calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess my biggest issue with it is the reason why I don't watch shows while they're so hyped up is because people talk about it constantly. And I think my biggest issue is, like you said, people are overhyping it and are just shocked by these things who wouldn't normally be, that aren't really a surprise.
It's like the people that love Walking Dead. It's like you wouldn't go watch a fucking zombie movie,
right?
If your life depended on it.
Exactly. That's so true. Yeah, that's very true.
Right? Like I love Walking Dead, but you won't watch a horror movie.
Yeah. Exactly.
Walking Dead though, which is like inferior in every way possible to even the most mediocre zombie film.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's right? That supposedly is the I guess what's cool about it is that it widens the audience, I guess. I mean, that's definitely cool for some people, but I don't understand the need. I don't know. It's just for me. It
widens the audience while watering down what it is.
That's true. That's very true. I mean, that's the only way that they can really do that. And to me, I think the problem, I don't know, it's just the way that people talk about it and have the need to discuss it online and just, I don't know. I always wait. I'm like, I literally told my friends the other night, I was like, I will probably watch Game of Thrones a few years after it's over.
So in like 2018.
Exactly. It's literally what they said to me.
Yeah, because it's done after next season.
But that's great. I'm kind of glad. I'm excited because then I can watch it and actually enjoy it. You know what I mean? And for myself, like I just finished Breaking Bad like last month. So, and I watched it in like a couple weeks. So like that.
And was it overhyped? It totally is.
It was overhyped, but at the time is why I didn't watch it. For me, I really loved the show. And I understand why people were obsessed with and like talking about it constantly, but that's how that's how I feel about any TV that gets over, like that just people obsess over and think that are mad at me for not watching. It's not for me. I don't know. I don't feel like I watch TV for those reasons. I watch it for me. And that's why I don't need to post about it on Facebook anymore. I don't know. To me, there's more than its whole TV watching experience is more of a sort of like a camaraderie that's become, and I like that in a way, but I don't need my news feed to be drowned in Game of Thrones spoilers. You know what I mean? Because that's
people getting angry about Game of Thrones spoilers.
Exactly.
Don't spoil the show for me.
It's just so hostile.
Who cares that much?
Why do we care so much? Exactly.
I've never understood that "don't spoil things for me" sentiment.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Someone saying like this happens versus seeing it in the film are like vastly different.
Yeah, very.
So it's like the way people react to the art medium of film is unlike anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very personal and yet shared experience. I don't know. It's weird.
And people get really upset. Don't spoil the new episode of Game of Thrones for me.
Right, like it's like ruining my birthday. Like it's something that, you know what I mean? Like, come on. Like
you're ruining the show for me by spoiling it. No, I'm not.
I know, right?
No, I'm not. Like, imagine people that start watching the show now. There's no way they haven't already heard like half of everything that happened in the show.
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons exactly why I wait so long is because I've heard every spoiler. So like I know what happens. I know who comes back to life this season. But
yeah,
right. But
Jon Snow. I don't fucking care. I'll spoil it. Fuck it. Who cares? If you have half of a fucking brain in your head, you know who comes back to life.
Of course. And the thing is, I don't even watch the show, but I know this. So like, I'm going to go and have to watch it in a few years, and I'll know all this stuff. But it doesn't matter to me because I will be able to get lost in the show. When I watch it. But that's all that I watch it for. So.
And again, it's not the best show that HBO's even ever done.
And I believe that. But I do believe that it's good. I believe that
it's very good. Yeah. But Sopranos was better.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my jam.
I need to get some HBO Go. As soon as they put that shit on streaming, then I'll watch it. Oh man.
Put what on streaming? Sopranos?
HBO Go, it's not a service like Netflix, for example. Like you have to have,
it is.
But you have to have a cable account.
No, they have HBO.
You HBO Now.
They have
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Another one.
You can watch. I think they have HBO Now for like computers, but I want it on my PlayStation. I want to watch it on my TV.
They don't have HBO Now on the PlayStation?
No, you have to have a cable account.
Well, do you want to talk about Into the Abyss?
Yeah,
let's do it. So, like I mentioned, Into the Abyss was directed by Werner Herzog. It's a full feature documentary. Came out in 2011. The IMDb synopsis for the film is: conversations with death row inmate Michael Perry and those affected by his crime serve as an examination of why people and the state
Michael Perry,
kill.
We would like to offer our condolences.
I don't know what's gonna happen. We're gonna see. We're gonna find out. I'll find out on Monday.
So she let him in the house to use the telephone, and while he was doing that, Michael Perry stepped out of the laundry room, and that's when he shot her. This was the vehicle that Michael Perry and Jason Burkett was after. 3 people died for this car.
You are granted parole in 2041.
I'll be 59, 60. It's a long time.
I asked the jury to please don't kill my son. They never had a chance.
You did how many executions?
They was over 125. I can't do them no more. I'm done. Nobody has a right to take another life.
I don't want to sound like an evil person, but I'm so glad I went to the execution.
I want 50 children. She wants 2.
I believe that paradise awaits one way or the other. I tell people all the time, I'm either going home or home.
Sean, quick take. What do you think of this film?
Oh man, it's something that, it's a topic that we hear about a lot, and over the years I've talked about a lot. But it's the first time I've really looked at a person on death row, and I don't know. It's really interesting. I thought it was going to have more of a bias to it, and there definitely is. And I thought it would be easier for me, but that was tough for me to watch and to have opinions about, and just watching. I don't know. You watch people suffering through extreme losses, and I don't know. I think it's the grittiness that Werner brings. It just the first interview got me, and it was this. you would think from the guy who was telling it that he would have a very strong opinion. I mean, this is in Texas where there's a lot of, I don't know, what's the word? What would you say about Texas? It's very, I don't know, like I imagine like a strong hand. I don't know. It's hard to talk about for me, but I liked it.
This film, I think this film, you get out of it what you put into it.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, it's a really hard film to watch, and it will be for a lot of people, because death row is not an easy thing to talk about, right. And it's obviously kind of a politically charged discussion as well, because some people think state sanctioned executions are okay, other people don't, and we'll get to that. Yeah. But I mean, Werner Herzog, this might be one of the best documentaries I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He allows everything to speak for itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he kind of presses the subject a little bit on some of these things that you wouldn't expect. At one point, one of the two inmates that's involved in this triple homicide, Jason Burkett, he's married to a woman on the outside, and Werner Herzog asks her to describe his hands. Mm-hmm. And that to me is just so, it's so Herzogian in the best way.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean,
I thought it was.
That's like something that's something you expect from Werner Herzog and only expect him to do.
Absolutely. And he was talking to another guy about his hands. He was talking about the calluses on his hands and how he read him and like understood him as a person because of those calluses on his hands. And that's so true. It's such an interesting detail to focus on.
Right. And that's, I don't think there's any other director that I can think of where they focus on these little details.
Yeah. But it said so much, especially for like you said, Jason and his wife, because when they, at the time, that's all the only contact they had at the beginning. And it's just fascinating to hear her talk about it.
Right. Yeah, so Michael Perry and Jason Burkett are the two gentlemen that are in death row for the killing of this woman and her grandson for a car. And one of them, Michael Perry, is on death row to be executed. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the film focuses on him, and this was filmed in the 8 days before.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the interviews were filmed in the 8 days before he was executed. So it's a very somber piece, mm-hmm. but it's also very respectful.
It is. It really is.
And Werner Herzog makes it very clear his thoughts on capital punishment, that he's against it. He mentions it. He apologizes to Michael Perry and says that he's sorry,
right, that
he's going to be executed.
Exactly.
And that he doesn't agree with state sanctioned executions. But I think outside of that, there's really not the opinion of the filmmaker doesn't really get in the way of the film.
No, not at all. It really, that's what's difficult for me, is I expected it to. I expected to agree the whole time, you know what I mean? And to just be like, yeah, okay, I see, but then there are interviews with like the victim's sister and daughter, and you can see where that difference comes from, and it's still it's still heartbreaking. I don't know. It's just, I mean, I there's a point at the end of the movie where he asks, I don't remember her name. It's the victim's daughter, and she just, she believes that Michael Perry got what he deserved, and she's happy that it gave her sort of some kind of some closure. And that's the argument to me. That's what we hear the whole time, and that's what I say. It's like it won't. I mean, I don't know that it won't do anything. Another person's death isn't going to bring someone back. It's not going to do anything, but it definitely did something for her, and that's what's so complicated about it.
Well, and when you look at the film kind of as a whole, it is somewhat of a condemnation of capital punishment.
Right, absolutely.
But at the same time, it doesn't stray away from presenting the flip side argument and the opposing thoughts on capital punishment.
Yeah.
It's not, and again, all of it goes to Werner Herzog. he knows exactly how to frame what he's doing to make it clear that he's not just sitting and saying, well, yeah. Right. Capital punishment's bad, and I'm not going to present anything to the contrary.
Exactly.
And he doesn't do that in this film.
No.
And that's why I like this film so much.
I do too. I think it's like what you said, that it lets everyone and everything speak for itself very much.
Yeah. He really allows the people to speak. And a lot of the times directors want to do the talking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It makes you, the audience member, do the thinking. And that's the hard part. I think that's really the hard part. It really makes you, I mean, it did for me. It makes you really consider, like, you know, really think about it and ask yourself the hard questions. And I think that is I think that's really powerful as a film.
And also questioning your beliefs.
Absolutely. Yeah. You really
because, you know, you automatically assume, you know, capital punishment, whatever, not that big of a deal. You know, these people are all assholes and you know, terrible human beings. Right. And why would I ever say, you know, I'm not for capital punishment? And then you see Michael Perry, who, I mean, he's a kid. Looks like a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah, he's a boy
with this like goofy like pumpkin pie haircut and has just like goofy kind of grin on his face. And you know, it humanizes an inherently impossible to humanize group of people.
Yeah.
And obviously not everybody's like this on death row.
Right, of course.
But everybody on death row is a human being.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what they've done.
Yeah.
How do you feel about capital punishment? Did this film kind of change your thoughts?
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror, we'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
On it,
I generally,
or just kind of confirm some thoughts for you.
I don't know. This really, if anything, this movie definitely stirred up my beliefs, and it definitely made it more difficult because what I'm usually against the idea of corporal punishment. But at the same time, I understand so many, you know, opposing points and beliefs, and it's so. You know, I just don't believe that I have a right to decide when someone should die. That's you know, that to me is the core of what I believe. But it isn't that simple. You know what I mean? Like, it's never that simple. It's just, I don't know. And every time I hear the interviews, like with the guy whose responsibility it was to take care of the inmate right before their execution, and also taking care of them after the execution. You know, hearing his testimony, you know, like him talking about his experience. And I mean, that to me, seeing the people whose job it was to kill people, kind of those sort of things sort of backed up my beliefs. But then you get to know, I don't know. It's difficult. You get to know the victims and their family, and you can't, I don't know. It's so, I still believe at the end of the day that we don't have the right to decide when someone should die or we should kill someone. That's my belief, but
I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I do think that this film does a good job of making you question your beliefs a little bit.
Yeah.
And it, you know, I don't think so much for me, but I would be curious to see someone who is staunchly for capital punishment watching this film.
Yeah.
And kind of seeing how they would walk out of this film and their what I guess would be their hot take on it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would be the most interesting. I think that's really who should be watching this.
Right, because I mean, that's who this film is kind of made
Absolutely.
for.
Yeah.
Is for people that already have this ingrained idea in their head of how and why and whether or not this should be the way it is.
Exactly.
You know, I think if anything, this film did a really good job of. I think it had a good job of allowing me, as someone who is opposed to the death penalty, it allows me to see both sides of it.
Yes.
but I think it also validates a lot of the stuff that I feel.
Absolutely. I agree.
Which is, I mean, like, it is at an immense emotional strain on everyone involved.
Absolutely.
From the, you know, obviously the people who are in the chair being capitally punished to the, you know, like you said, the gentleman who they interview at the beginning and the end of the documentary.
Yeah.
You know, it took an emotional toll and a physical toll on him to the point where he had to like quit because it was too much.
Right before he got like, what was it? Was it resident? He almost got like permanence at his job, and so like that, you know, he just turned it all away because it was too much. And that, I don't know, just seeing the people who actually pulled the trigger. The guy who said he almost ran over a squirrel and became emotional because he said he had the choice. You know, he had, it was up to him whether that squirrel would live or die, and how he didn't have a choice. He said he felt like he didn't have a choice when it came to these other human beings. And that is profound. I mean, that was beautiful in such a sad way to see him realize that, to understand that. And that was the fact that we make people do that in the first place. That to me is hard and to accept, you know?
Well, yeah. And I think that that's one of the really big kind of takeaways from this film is, you know, people are doing this, and some people are doing it even if they don't want to.
Exactly.
They're just doing it because they need the job.
Right.
But it does take this toll on everyone. And I think that Herzog does a really good job of allowing you to see that without beating you over the head with it.
Yeah, definitely.
But again, I think that there are very few directors that could pull that off. I think Werner Herzog, you know, you look at a film like Cobra Verde.
Yeah.
Which is pretty heavy-handed with the slavery stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, let's be perfectly honest here. And then you look at a film like this, which is not heavy-handed at all. This film is the complete antithesis of heavy-handed with the way that it presents the kind of the for and against argument on capital punishment.
Oh, yeah. It literally lets it speak. The emotion is just inherent, you know?
Which is awesome. Yeah. I mean, that's what I want as someone who wants to watch a documentary.
Absolutely. I agree. I think one of the best things that this movie does is it really prevents you from being able to make it black and white. Like, you can't look at this guy as a monster. You can't.
It's not a black and white argument anymore.
Not at all. But I think
that to me is the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand.
Oh, of course not. I think that we do it because it's easier. We make it black and white. We don't have to think about until it applies to us. We still don't have to. We don't have to worry. We don't have to think about this issue, this conflict. But even seeing that I keep going back to this woman because just at the end she says the words, "I believe some people don't have the right to live," and that to me, this is a woman who has lost everything, like her whole family, and so many tragedies, one right after the other, and my heart bleeds for her, like it really does. But I still and I can see how it makes it easier for her to make this kid a monster. And she even said it. She walked in, you know, on his execution day to see, you know, to witness it. And that, you know, it was, she realized that she created this monster, and yet there, you know, it makes it so much easier for us to dehumanize these people and to make this situation easier to make an answer, or to make a decision. But it's never like that. And I think that you're right. Like, this movie lets that be true and lets it really sink in for those of us who have never had to think about it too hard, you know?
Right. And I'm not sure that this film is made for you and I.
Right. I agree.
I think that this film really is made for people that have it set in their mind that capital punishment is the way to go. Absolutely. Just recently, I want to say maybe 6 months ago, I was in an event in downtown Lincoln, where I live, and you know, they had recently repealed the death penalty here in the state of Nebraska within like the last 7 or 8 months, and there were people downtown asking for us to sign stuff to, you know, with their like little like clipboard, like, hey, would you like to sign to have the death penalty reinstated? And they asked me that, and as I walked past them, I said, no, I wouldn't. that's not something I support. And the person got so mad at me.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, really? Like,
right. And that's what I mean. It's so easy.
Why? Why are you so angry?
Exactly. Because it's black and white for these people. It is,
I mean, it's like a lot of other things in this country right now.
Absolutely. Everything political that has a lot of political charge to it. It's
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just one simple disagreement and it's like fire,
Well, and I mean, I completely get it. And, it has a lot of political undertones and, it's similar in my opinion to like abortion.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of got those similar undertones where it's like it's a moral question on top of it's a moral question on top of a political question.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's another perfect example of something that we glaze over as far as really understanding the issues, and people are quick to jump to sides without. I mean, that's the beauty of social media warriors. You know what I mean? Like people picking a side without really understanding.
And I mean, again, that's perfectly fine. You're allowed to do it, and I'm not going to tell you not to do it.
Right.
But jumping into the discussion one way or another without really thinking about everything.
Yeah.
Is not the best way to go about it. And again, I think that that's what this film does so well, is that it allows the discussion and the points to stand on their own.
Exactly.
And that's rare for a documentary.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that this is the first Herzog documentary you've watched.
Yeah, I mean,
well, you watched Grizzly Man.
Yeah, I want to, but yeah, this is the first one that I really watched. Yeah.
Grizzly Man is different.
Very different because he compiled footage more than anything. But yeah, this is the first true Werner Herzog documentary I've seen.
And I think of the ones that I've seen up until this point, it's my favorite one.
It's great. And I really did love it because it has so much, I don't know. It's like you said, it's what you put into it. It really is.
And even though this film, it's not made for us. It's really not made for people that kind of feel the way that you do and I do about this.
Exactly.
It's made for people that their minds are already made up and they can't see the forest they can't see the trees through the forest, really. Yeah. They just automatically lump everyone together in this one big boat. It's made for them. But I think if you sit down and you watch this film and you kind of look at the deft hand that Werner Herzog brings to it, and it's a very deft, light touch on the film and light touch on the kind of what the film is talking about. I think you'll walk away with it kind of questioning what you believe as someone who maybe supports the death penalty.
Right.
And that for me is what's important about this film, is that you should question your beliefs and you should want to have your beliefs questioned.
Yeah.
Right?
That's absolutely.
You should want to have your beliefs questioned, and you shouldn't want to just sit there and say, well, I support this and there's no way I'm ever going to change, because that's a pretty close-minded way of looking at the world.
Yeah, and that just doesn't work that way. Nothing is that simple.
And nothing works that way anymore in this world.
Yeah.
Because, every day things are happening that will cause people to question their beliefs, and this film, we don't get to see what those people thought before they were involved.
Right.
Like the family of the Stotler family, who this poor woman lost like 6 family members in the span of like 5 years. You don't get to see what her thoughts were prior.
Right.
And that's something I would be really interested in.
Me too.
Is what she thought about capital punishment before all of this happened.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you because this woman is broken, and like a lot of her perspective comes from that, and that's very clear. And I don't blame her for that. Like I can't imagine feeling any different if that were me. I really, it's hard to imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's I say that I don't support capital punishment, but I mean, how would I?
Right, no one's murdered my family.
How could I can say that now, but right, like you said, I can't. I can say that now, but I can't say it for sure that would always be the case.
Yeah, it's so complicated, and
and that's the great thing about being human, is that we are allowed to change the way we feel about things, especially in response to events like this, in a response to events that break what is your entire world.
Yeah.
And it did. I mean, the murdering of her brother and her mother shattered her entire world, more or less.
Yeah.
And again, I sit here and I say that I think I could not feel the way that she does about it, but I just can't know that.
Right.
So, and I think that that's really the biggest takeaway from this film is it does a good job of even making someone like myself or you question how we would feel about
Absolutely. So yeah, exactly. Even, there's value in that for sure.
And it's pretty great. Werner Herzog really, he's not in the film. You never see him, which I think, that's a documentary style that I like.
Yeah.
I also realized this is the first documentary I think we've ever done.
Is it really?
On the Kulturecast, yeah.
Is it really? Yeah, because we've only done mockumentaries. You're right.
Yeah. So I think this is a good one to start off with.
Definitely. Oh, it's much. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, Herzog always just seems to be looking in the right place.
Yeah, man.
He always knows where to look.
Yeah.
For things like this. Like who would have thought that this little town in Conroe, Texas, which is like mid-east Texas, would have this interesting story.
Yeah, definitely.
And would spark this conversation about capital punishment.
Absolutely. What I thought was super interesting and probably more unique than it should be for documentaries that I've seen is that like he really, for the most part, this movie is listening to other people's stories. It's listening to them speak. It's all these interviews, but they're doing all the talking, and that is I noticed that from the beginning, and I thought I loved that. You know what I mean? It's really looking at the truth, or you know what I mean? I think that's amazing. Or these people's truths, and it's amazing. It's very, like you said, it's what it is. It is what it is.
Well, and again, there aren't very many documentarians that do this,
right,
that are hands off with the everything.
Yeah.
And, he does have a little bit of kind of narration, I would say. It's not really narration.
Yeah.
It's narration, but it's in like the mildest sense.
Right. It's mostly his commentary comes from the questions he asks these people. And I think, but even then he lets them answer, and it's about their answers and what they say and what they've been through. And I don't know, that really
well, and that to me is the most important part of being a documentarian.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's not allowing your biases overrule the story.
Absolutely.
And a lot of documentarians out there don't allow that to happen.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
So,
which brings me back to the incident at Loch Ness. It's really interesting, that, I mean, it's so irrelevant, but like, it's the complete opposite of what that is. It's absolutely taking a hands-off.
Incident in Loch Ness, looking at it now, it's kind of it's really like a send up of the way Werner Herzog does documentaries.
Right. The way he works. And I think that is so fascinating to see, you know what I mean? Because he would do, it feels the exact opposite. It feels so raw, and that's what he does. You know what I mean? If anything, that's what I've explained to every single movie that I've seen of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and again, it's that distinct style that only Werner Herzog has, and then you really get the sense watching the film that he wants you to come to your conclusion.
Yeah.
And in Incident in Loch Ness, Zach Penn really did a good job of mimicking that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So skip it or watch it. There's not really a best performance.
No. I don't think so. I mean, I definitely say watch it. Yeah, really, especially if you don't know where you stand. Oh my God, watch this. Because it's not every case is like Michael Perry's, but this, I mean, unfortunately, the death penalty includes these situations. You know what I mean? So you really need to take a look at this if you're on the fence. I mean, it's, if anything, just to see some insight, no best performance. I thought they were all pretty good.
For me, it's a total watch. Again, like you said, if you're on the fence, if you're not on the fence, I think that this film will cause you to question it either way.
Yeah.
Really.
Definitely got me thinking.
Yeah. Like you said, someone who I think we're pretty set in our ways. Even I'm like, well,
right.
If this were my family, how would I respond?
Right.
Yeah, it's a total watch. It's a really great film. I really enjoyed it. And it's strange to say for a film like this.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's not a happy film.
No.
So.
And it's on Netflix. So
it is. Go on over to Netflix and check it out, please. Before I talk about next Monday's Kulturecast, Sean, anything you want to plug?
Nothing new. As always, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm Seanifer. And on Facebook, I'm Sean Liang.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Kulturestash. If you like what you're listening to now, head on over to cultureshock.com/Kulturecast and check out 100+ episodes of the Kulturecast. As always, big thanks to Evoca for allowing us to use their song Lament as the intro-outro for the Kulturecast. And head on over to patreon.com/culture_shocked if you'd like to help us out, give $1 a month. This coming Monday, we're going to be talking about Fitzcarraldo, one of Werner Herzog's 2 films that he's really well known for. And on Thursday, we're going to be taking a break from Werner Herzog, and we're going to be talking about Captain America: Civil War, the newest Marvel film from the Marvel Studios and the newest entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're going to be joined by Matt Campagna and Ash Suri to talk about that film. So make sure to check that one out.